The year is 2016 and for some reason we had the lamest WrestleMania main event of all time. But we had a very good SummerSlam as Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman defeated Randy Orton via technical knockout and suddenly WWE is filled with New Japan stars. Unfortunately no Yoshitatsu. By the way, Prince Devitt pinned Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship only to vacate a day later. The brand split is taken seriously and the wildcard rule does not exist. Today we will be talking about one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Kevin Owens.
Identity theft is not a joke, Jim. Millions of families suffer every year.
No, this is Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is a freak. He's a complete package. He has excellent matches, great character work, extraordinary mic skills, and yes, Kevin Owens is very fun and entertaining to watch. Well, in today's video, we are going to be talking about Kevin's run as the Universal Champion in 2016 and how I consider Kevin Owens as one of the best Universal Champions till date and until of course our tribal chief. Back in 2016, WWE was very different than it is now. My man Vincent was in charge.
Come on out, you rapist! Oh, there he is!
It was better, I can say yes, and much of the credit goes to my man Kevin Owens and of course his partner in crime Chris Jericho.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
The viewership numbers were also high compared to today's WWE. It was during that time when Jericho introduced the List of Jericho as a result of feeling that he was being treated unjustly by general manager Mick Foley. He began a list called the List of Jericho where he wrote down the name of the person that bothered him and why. If someone annoyed Jericho, he would ask, you know what happens, before shouting, you just made the list and writing the person's name down. The List of Jericho soon became incredibly popular with the fans, with many critics describing Jericho and his list as easily one of the best moments on Raw's broadcast. Kevin and Chris Jericho's alliance began at SummerSlam 2016 when they teamed up to face Big Cass aka W. Morrissey and Enzo Amore, and yeah, they won. This moment was the highlight of the match.
Big Cass would quote unquote be more respectful towards me. And Kevin Owens just mocking Enzo.
Post SummerSlam, Kevin Owens would face the Bastard Pac, sorry Neville, for a WWE Universal Championship qualification match and he defeated Neville, sorry Pac, with an assistance from Chris Jericho. Next week, he would main event Raw in a fatal 4-way match against Seth Rollins, sorry Tyler Black, Roman Reigns and Big Cass for some reason. Kevin would win the Universal Championship at Raw. This time there was an assistance from the new head of talent and relations, Triple H. This was legit an emotional moment for fans at home and of course Kevin Owens, who you know has been in the pro wrestling business for like 15 years now and finally he was at the top of the best pro wrestling company in the world. His first opponent was Seth Rollins, sorry Tyler Black, who he faced twice, once at Clash of Champions and the second time inside Hell in a Cell. The second match I feel is one of the craziest matches, like Cody vs Rollins crazy. They had a better match no doubt, but this match was unique in its own way. It had near falls, Jericho coming inside the cell, a few table spots and a helpless Seth Rollins fighting two men at a single time. The finish of the match had Kevin doing a powerbomb on Rollins onto two chairs. At this point it was quite visible that Jericho was always there to protect Kevin Owens and the Universal Championship, and the two were just amazing. In one of his promos, Kevin Owens would introduce himself as the longest reigning Universal Champion, mocking the previous champion Finn Balor, sorry Prince Devitt, who was the Universal Champion only for one day. After Hell in a Cell, there was Survivor Series where both Kevin and Chris Jericho were named co-captains of Team Raw and the team consisted of Seth Rollins, sorry Tyler Black, Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. It was during the build of the Survivor Series where we had this crazy segment where both Raw and SmackDown teams were there and Chris Jericho would call out James Ellsworth, a child. It was actually a different time altogether. The brand split was now considered more serious. AJ Styles was the WWE champion during Survivor Series and WWE was actually listening to fans. On the following episode of Raw, Owens would defeat Seth Rollins in a no disqualification match, again with the help of Jericho. Next week, Roman issued a challenge to Owens for a singles match where Owens would proclaim he does not require Jericho and would get his first pinfall defeat after becoming the Universal Champion. After both Jericho and Owens failed to win the WWE US Championship from Reigns in multiple single matches in late 2016, Jericho pinned Reigns in a handicap match also involving Owens. Thus, Jericho won his first championship in nearly 7 years in WWE and also become a Grand Slam champion in the process. Roman would face Kevin Owens at multiple pay-per-views but was never successful because of Jericho, and during that time he had a love-hate relationship with Braun Strowman, who would interfere in his matches for no reason and would then lose in singles matches. Goldberg would face Owens next. His challenge was accepted by Chris Jericho, due to which the duo had some personal beef, of course kayfabe wise.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Also, a fun story, Jericho was supposed to win the Universal Championship from Kevin Owens and headline WrestleMania, but there were changes in plans as soon as Goldberg appeared. Now, Goldberg not only defeated Kevin Owens but was the reason of the breakup of Owens and Jericho. They had a great segment on Raw with Jericho appreciating Owens and their friendship. Kevin would then, as expected, beat the crap out of Chris Jericho. It was honestly a heartbreaking segment for me. For a while, they literally changed the air on Raw. Their segments were top tier and my hate for Goldberg grew more. Goldberg would then defeat Owens at Fastlane. Jericho and Owens would then have a match at WrestleMania where Jericho dropped the US title to Kevin Owens. After Prince Devitt was forced to vacate the Universal Championship, WWE needed someone to fill in the shoes and make the title feel special. Even though the title looked horrible, it still does, no second thoughts about that. Kevin Owens did the perfect job of handling the scenarios and would come out fresh and on top with the help of Chris Jericho. His 188 days reign felt so short, and yeah, to me he is the best Universal Champion till date, after the Tribal Chief of course. After Owens, Goldberg held the belt for only 28 days, followed by a 500+ day Brock Lesnar reign, who would barely defend his belt. This was all for today's video. I hope you like my thick Indian accent. Comment thick in the comment section. I would like you guys to subscribe to my channel as I will be posting content related to wrestling daily.